So the time for this debate has now expired. Call Government Order of the Day number 1.
Road User Charges Bill, interrupted debate on second reading.
When this bill was last being debated, the Road User Charges Bill, the Honourable Rick Barker had the call. He has 4 minutes remaining. Is some other member seeking the call? Jami-Lee Ross.
Mr Speaker, it's a pleasure to speak on this Road User Charges Bill. It's a fairly technical bill and was in fact one that I only came into the Select Committee partway through, given my election to Parliament only 6 months ago. But it's one that the Select Committee heard submissions on, one that I was privileged to hear submissions on, and by the looks of it, it seems as though it's a bill which has some sensible changes to the road user charges system, which are necessary to bring the system into the 21st century. It's also, Mr Speaker, about reducing compliance costs for transport operators and ultimately reducing the transport costs for businesses and exporters. You see, Mr Speaker, the way road user charges works at the moment, transport operators have to put a lot of time and effort into estimating the weight of the goods that they're carrying through on their vehicles. The changes that this Road User Charges Bill would bring into effect would essentially mean that it makes it a whole lot easier for businesses, because they'd be using the fixed weight that is assigned to the particular vehicle. Mr Speaker, so changing the definition of licence weights, removing the confusing time licence system and simplifying the list of exempted vehicles will all reduce compliance costs. The New Zealand Transport Agency will also be able to take greater advantage of modern internet technology in administering road user charges payment channels, and the bill addresses concerns about road user charge evasion, which is conservatively estimated to be about $30 million a year. Mr Speaker, currently honest payers of road user charges are effectively subsidising those who evade payment. This bill will remove a number of evasion opportunities and encourage timely payment, making the system fairer for all users. Mr Speaker, the government is bringing this bill to the House because it's something which is necessary to bring it through to the 21st century. And Mr Speaker, this government's all about simplifying the legislation for businesses. It's all about making it easier for people to do business in the community, and simplifying the road user charges system is a good one that is being brought forward. Mr Speaker, one of the changes that the Select Committee made was to reduce the road user charges licensing penalties for individuals from $3,000 to $1,000. We heard a number of submissions from people that felt that the penalties for individuals at $3,000 was too onerous and was too punitive. And also the Select Committee reduced the penalty for body corporates from $15,000 to $5,000. Myself and the other national members, and indeed I believe the whole Select Committee from memory, was happy to reduce those penalties because it's important that when you have penalties in legislation that they're in line with the actual problems that the penalties are trying to solve. So reducing those penalties from $3,000 to $1,000 for individuals and from $15,000 to $5,000 for body corporates seemed appropriate. Mr Speaker, another particular change which I'd like to highlight was the replaced Clause 12 with, included a new Clause 12. This enabled vehicle operators of certain road user charges vehicles issued with overweight and high productivity permits to either pay an additional licence to the distance licence required for the vehicle under Clause 9 or to obtain a distance licence specifically for road user vehicles Type H. That was, again, a technical change to the bill that the Select Committee made, but an important one to those who are making submissions to it. Mr Speaker, happy to support this road user charges bill. It's an important one to bring the system into the 21st century, and I look forward to it being passed through its second reading this afternoon.
The question is that the amendments recommended by the Transport and Industrial Relations Committee by majority be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Road User Charges Bill, second reading.
This bill is set down for committee stage next sitting day. Call Government Orders of the Day numbers 2 and 3.
Local Government Borrowing Bill, third reading. Local Government Auckland Council Amendment Bill number 2, third reading.
Speaker.